Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Baradhari Pe Jana Vallabha Giri Baradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Baradhari Pe Jana Vallabha Giri Baradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Jamunatira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Satasi Srimad Srila Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astottara Satasi Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mahi Ki Jai Jamuna Mahi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Sri Caitanya caritamrta, Madhya lila, chapter 14, a chapter entitled Performance of the Vrindavan Pastimes. We're starting to read from text 47. There'll be a lot of reading today because the next purport only comes after 49 verses. So we'll read as much as, maybe we won't make it to that purport. We'll see. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Harir Nama Harir Nama Harir Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ihan Jagannathera Rata Chalana Samaya Gauda Sabha Rata Tane Age Nahi Yaya. Outside the garden, when it was time to pull Jagannath's car, all the workers called Gaudas tried to pull it, but it would not move forward. We can just do a little recap of where we are. So, this is the Rath Yatra festival of Lord Jagannath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the previous chapter was quite an amazing description of his dancing in front of Lord Jagannath. And after he had danced for so long, he had become a little tired, transcendentally tired. And the cart at that point had come to an area called Balagandi. And so, as is tradition, according to the description, when the Rath Yatra cart reaches this place, Balagandi, then all the devotees who visit and anyone who visits, they can offer their bhoga to Jagannath at this place. So it described, everyone cooked and brought, and they themselves offered it, and they put it in front of the cart, behind the cart, in the gardens surrounding the cart, everywhere. People were just putting down their food offerings and themselves offering it to the Lord. So that's where the cart stopped. And there was a garden there, and Lord Chaitanya went to take rest in the garden with his devotees. It's described that each devotee found a tree and just lay under the tree in the garden. And while he was there, we read about how he gave special mercy to Maharaj Prataparudra. On the procession he was rejected, but then on the guidance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he changed his dress into a simple Vaishnava dress and came before Lord Chaitanya and got Lord Chaitanya's special mercy. And while in the garden, then particular associates had arranged prasadam for all the devotees, and Lord Chaitanya became very enthusiastic and inspired to serve all the devotees. He was so appreciative of the devotees participating and dancing so enthusiastically with him, and he felt obliged, I must serve the devotees. So he himself personally served everyone, but the devotees would refuse to eat until the Lord sat down, and he also ate. So until he began to eat, they would not eat. So like that, Lord Chaitanya was having pastimes with the devotees. So now we're at the point where it's time for the cart to move again. Tani te na pare gauda, rata chadi dile, patra mitra lana raja, vyagra hana oile. When the Gaudas saw that they could not budge the car, they abandoned the attempt. Then the king arrived in great anxiety, and he was accompanied by his officers and friends. Mahamale gane dile rata chali laite, apa nela gile rata na pare tanite. The king then arranged for big wrestlers to try and pull the car, and even the king himself joined in, but the car could not be moved. Vyagrahana ane raja mata hati gana, rata chalaite rate karila yojana. Becoming even more anxious to move the car, the king had very strong elephants brought forth and harnessed to it. Mata hasti ganatane yara yata bala ekapada nachala rata haila achala. The strong elephants pulled with all their strength, but still the car remained at a standstill, not budging an inch. Shuni Mahaprabhu aila nija ganalana mata hasti rate thana deke dandana. As soon as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu heard this news, he went there with all his personal associates. They then stood there and watched the elephants try to pull the car. Anukshera ghaya hasti karaya chitkara rata nahi chale loke kare hahakara. The elephants, being beaten by the elephant goad, were crying, but still the car would not move. The assembled people cried out, Alas! Tabe Mahaprabhu Sabha Hasti Guchaila Nija Gane Rata Kachi Tani Bhare Dila. At that time, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu let all the elephants go free and placed the car's ropes in the hands of his own men. Apanera tera pache tele mata diya had kari rata chalila daiya. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the back of the car and began to push with his head. It was then that the car began to move and roll along, making a rattling sound. Bhakta gane kachi hate kari matra daya apana chalila rata tanite napaya. Indeed, the car began to move automatically, and the devotees simply carried the ropes in their hands. Since it was moving effortlessly, they did not need to pull it. So, this is, Lord Chaitanya himself is pushing with his head. Like our Rath Yatra carts have this hydraulic system with gas, right? It's got brakes and a steering wheel. And sometimes it happens on the procession. Because of that mechanism, the cart is moving and everyone's just carrying the ropes They're not really pulling so much. So it's a bit of a lazy effort. And so they have to disable and get the people to move and urge them to pull. But here Lord Chaitanya, of course this is, a very deep pastime. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Jagannath is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these two forms are having pastimes amongst themselves. So Lord Jagannath is controlling the chariot personally. If he wills it would not move, it won't move, no matter what you try. But then Lord Chaitanya was feeling, no, he has to move to Vrindavan. This is the point of this. They're going to Gundicha, and Gundicha is Vrindavan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of, Srimati Radharani, the Brajabasis, that Lord Krishna must come back to Vrindavan. So in this overflowing ecstasy, he's pushing. And so Lord Jagannath is overpowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood of devotion. And so he is forced to move. Anande karaya loka jaya jaya dvani jaya jagannatha bhaiyara nahi shuni. When the car moved forward, everyone began to chant with great pleasure, all glories, and all glories to Lord Jagannath. No one could hear anything else. Nimeshte tagela rata gundi chara dwara Chaitanya pratapa teki loke chamatkara. In a moment, the car reached the door of the Gundicha temple. Upon seeing the uncommon strength of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, all the people were struck with wonder. I don't know if anyone knows this place, Balagandi, to Gundicha, how far it is. Okay. Here, in a moment, the car reached. Very quickly, the Lord pushed to Gundicha. Okay, so 400 to 500 meters. Okay. Jaya Gaura Chandra, Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, E Mata Kola Hala Loka Dhanya Dhanya. The crowd made a tumultuous vibration, chanting Jai Gaura Chandra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Then the people began to chant, wonderful, wonderful. Dekhiya prataparudra patra mitra sange, prabhura mahima dekhi prema phule ange. Seeing the greatness of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Prataparudra Maharaj and his ministers and friends were so moved by ecstatic love that the hair on their bodies stood on end. Pandu Vijay tabe kare, sevaka gane, Jagannatha vasila giya, nija singhasane. All the servants of Lord Jagannath then took him down from the car, and the Lord went to sit on his throne. Subhadra Balarama Nija Singhasane Aila, Jagannathera Snana Bhoga Haita Lagila. Subhadra and Balarama also sat on their respective thrones. There followed the bathing of Lord Jagannath, and finally the offering of food. Anginate Mahaprabhu Lana Bhakta Gana, Anande Aramba Kaila Nartana Kirtana. While Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Subhadra sat on their respective thrones, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees began to perform Sankirtan with great pleasure, chanting and dancing in the yard of the temple. Anande Mahaprabhura Prema Utaila Lila Dekhi Sabha Loka Prema Sagara Bashila. While Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing, he was overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and all the people who saw him were also flooded in the ocean of love of Godhead. Nritya kari sandhya kale arati dekhile, aitota ashi Prabhu vishrama karile. In the evening, after finishing his dancing in the yard of the Gundicha temple, the Lord observed the arati ceremony. Thereafter, he went to a place called Aitota and took rest for the night. So this Aitota is the resting place of Lord Chaitanya near the Gundicha temple. Advaita Tari Bhakta Gana Nimantrana Kaila Mukya Mukya Navajana Navadhina Paila. For 9 days, 9 chief devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, got an opportunity to invite the Lord to their homes. Advaita Acharya and other devotees, they also have residences in Jagannath Puri. We were fortunate a couple of years ago to go to Advaita Acharya Prabhu's residence, which is not far from the Gundicha temple. A very nice little quiet residence, and in that place some of his descendants are still there worshipping what they say are his personal Shalagram Shilas, and also they are deities of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda there. So yeah, Advaita Acharya, he has his residence near Gundicha, and other associates also. Arabhakta Gana Chaturmasya Yata Dina Eka Dina Kari Labantana. During the 4 months of the rainy season, the remaining devotees extended invitations to the Lord for 1 day each. In this way, they shared invitations. Chari Masera Dina Mukya Bhakta Bhanti Nila Ara Bhakta Gana Avasara Napaila. For the 4-month period, all the daily invitations were shared among the important devotees. The rest of the devotees did not get an opportunity to extend an invitation to the Lord. There's an interesting point here. This is Chaturmasya, and generally, at least the sannyasis, renunciates, of course they stay in one place, but they also take up austerities and just hear and chant. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's accepting invitations for a feast every day of the Chaturmasya period, which is interesting. He's a sannyasi at this point. And here it's mentioned only the important devotees were able to invite him, and the others couldn't get the opportunity. Ekadina nimantrana kare dui dina mili e mata mahaprabhura nimantrana keli. Since they could not get 1 day each, 2 or 3 devotees combined to extend an invitation. These are the pastimes of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's acceptance of invitations. I'm just reminded of, just regarding invitations, when Srila Prabhupada in 1970, took a group of his first American disciples to India with him. Then one devotee was part of the group, Hansaduta Prabhu. He passed away this year, not a couple months ago. So he was Srila Prabhupada's secretary, and a lot of invitations were coming from, the people that Prabhupada come to their home and visit them, take prasadam. So Hansaduta Prabhu, being the secretary, Prabhupada would send them to him. Prabhupada would tell them, yes, I'm coming, I will come. You just tell him, and he'll arrange it. But so many invitations were coming, it was not possible to accept them all. The schedule was full, completely full. So he would have to tell the people, unfortunately, our schedule is full, we don't have time, we can't facilitate it. And they'd become very angry. And they'd say, but Prabhupada said you will arrange it. He said he's going to come to our place and you will arrange it. And they were very persistent. So this went on for some days. Prabhupada would say, yes, I'm coming. Go and tell my secretary. And he would have to tell them, we can't, it's impossible to accept you. And so he became so frustrated. He went to Prabhupada. Shri Radharanath ki jai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giriraj Govardhana ki jai. So he became so frustrated because he didn't know what to do. These people they were harassing him. They were so strong. They really wanted Prabhupada to visit. So he went to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, you're accepting these invitations, but it's just not possible. There's just no time in your schedule. And you're saying, yes, I will come, just arrange it with my secretary, and I'm telling them, no, it's not possible, and they're getting angry with me. And they're saying, you said that you will come, I don't know what to do. So Prabhupada said, it's my duty to say yes, and your duty to say no. So eventually what he did was, he said yes to everyone. Yes, we will come. So he gathered all the names together, and what he decided to do was they just chose the people who would, according to his discretion, be of most value in terms of spreading Krishna consciousness in India and, making good connections. So he would somehow, choose those people, and then the others just say, I'm sorry, we can't, we can't accommodate you. Prata kale snana kare deki jagannatha sankirtana nritya kare bhakta gana sata. After taking his bath early in the morning, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu would go to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. Then he would perform Sankirtan with his devotees. Kabhu Advaita Nacharya Kabhu Nityanande Kabhu Haridasa Nachaya Kabhu Achutanande. By chanting and dancing, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu induced Advaita Acharya to dance. Sometimes he induced Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, and Achutananda to dance. Kabhu Vrakeshvara Kabhu Arha Bhakta Gane Trisandhya Kirtan Kare Gundicha Prangane. Sometimes Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu engaged Vakreshvara and other devotees in chanting and dancing. 3 times daily, morning, noon, and evening, he would perform Sankirtan in the yard of the Gundicha temple. Vrindavane Ayala Krishna E Prabhura Gyane Krishnera Viraha Spruti Hoila Avasane. At this time, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu felt that Lord Krishna had returned to Vrindavan. Thinking this, his feelings of separation from Krishna subsided. Radha Sange Krishna Lila E Hoila Gyane E Rase Magna Prabhu Haila Apane. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was always thinking of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and he remained personally merged in this consciousness. Nando Dhyana Bhakta Sange Vrindavana Lila Indradyumna Sarovare Kare Jala Kela. There were many gardens near the Gundicha temple, and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates used to perform the pastimes of Vrindavan in each of them. In the lake named Indradyumna, he sported in the water. Apane sakala bhakte sinche jala diya sabha bhakta gane sinche chodi ke badiya. the Lord personally splashed all the devotees with water, and the devotees surrounding him on all sides also splashed the Lord. Kabhu eka mandala kabhu aneka mandala jala manduke vadya sabe vajaya karatala. While in the water, they sometimes formed one circle, and sometimes many circles. And while in the water, they used to play cymbals and imitate the croaking of frogs. So this is interesting because, at least from material point of view, they are all mature in age or older. They're not like children, but they are croaking like frogs. This is like children imitating a coward voice, imitating the animals in the forest. So yeah, this is in their ecstasy. They are behaving in ways which are outside of their normal sort of character. Dui dui jane mele kare jalarana kea hare keha jine prabhu kare darashana. Sometimes two would pair off to fight in the water. One would emerge victorious and the other defeated, and the Lord would watch all this fun. Advaita Nityananda Jala Pela Peli Acharya Hariya Pache Kare Ghala Gali. The first sporting took place between Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, who threw water upon each other. Advaita Acharya was defeated, and he later began to rebuke Nityananda Prabhu, calling him ill names. Vidya Nidhira Jala Keli Swarupera Sane Gupta Dhate Jala Keli Kare Dui Jane. Swarupa Damodar and Vidyanidhi also threw water upon each other, and Murari Gupta and Vasudeva Datta also sported in that way. Srivasa Sahita Jala Keli Gadhadhara Raghava Pandit Sane Kele Vakreshvara. Another duel took place between Srivas Thakur and Gadhadhara Pandit, and yet another between Raghava Pandit and Vakreshvara Pandit. Thus they all engaged in throwing water. Sarvabhauma Sange Kele Ramananda Raya Gambhirya Gele Dhonhara Hoila Shishu Praya. Indeed, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya engaged in water sports with Sri Ramananda Rai, and they both lost their gravity and became like children. Mahaprabhu tan Dhonhara Chanchalya Dekhiya Gopi Natacharya Kichu Kahena Hashiya. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw the exuberance of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai, he smiled and spoke to Gopinath Acharya. So these are all the most intimate associates of the Lord, and they are exhibiting ecstatic love by, fighting with each other in the water. Very wonderful. Prabhupada, this is also true. He would like. Sometimes he would engage the brahmacharis to wrestle in front of him for his own enjoyment and pleasure. So this was also, Prabhupada liked the devotees, they wrestle. He would have Brahmananda, who was a professional wrestler, sometimes to wrestle with some devotees, and he would laugh and enjoy. And the BBT, they recently shared for free a PDF version of Bhakti Charaswami's book for the whole world. So I started reading it, and in there he talks about how in the early days of Mayapur, when Jaipataka Maharaj and Bhavananda Maharaj at the time were in charge, they would have wrestling competitions on the bank of the Ganga, and sometimes he was nominated to wrestle with some devotee, and he's a small person, and they would easily just throw him on the ground and defeat him. And also, as Mayapur developed, and the Gaur Purnima festival developed, Jaipataka Maharaj, he would always take the devotees during the festival time. So many would come from all over the world. Take them to the bank of the Ganges. I've seen videos of this. And the mud of the Ganga. They would have, fights with the mud, throwing the mud on each other. And he would, cover devotees in mud. So like that, this is the... devotees can enjoy in this way amongst themselves. Pandita Gambira Dune Pramanika Jana Bala Chanchalya Kare Karaha Varjana. Tell the Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai to stop their childish play, because they are both learned scholars and very grave and great personalities. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is also elderly in age. So it's interesting. Gopinatha Tahe Tomara Kripa Maha Sindhu Uchalita Kare Yaba Tara Eka Bindu. Gopinath Acharya replied, I believe that one drop of the ocean of your great mercy has swelled up upon them. Meru Mandara Parvata Dubaya Yata Tata E Dui Ganda Shaila Ihara Ka Kata. A drop from the ocean of your mercy can drown great mountains like Sumeru and Mandara. Since these two gentlemen are little hills by comparison, it is no wonder they are being drowned in the ocean of your mercy. Mandara mountain is a golden mountain, celestial mountain. And this mountain was used in the churning of the ocean of milk. Is it Mandara? In the churning of the milk ocean pastime, they carried a mountain to put on Kurma Devs, or to use as a churning rod. Was it Mandara? Mandara mountain. So Mandara mountain is a huge mountain. And when the demigods and demons, it was so heavy, together they were lifting, but they were crushed because it was so heavy. Mandara mountain, yes. So Gopinath Acharya is saying that one drop of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya can drown a mountain like Mandara. Inconceivable. And he's saying that these two, Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai, they're like small hills compared to Mandara mountain. So there's no wonder that they are being drowned in the ocean of just one little drop of your mercy. What to speak of the entire ocean of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shushka Tarka Kali Kaita Janma Gela Yanra Tanre Lila Mrita Pyaho E Kripa Tomara. Logic is like a dry oil cake from which all the oil has been extracted. The Bhattacharya passed his life in eating such dry cakes, but now you have made him drink the nectar of transcendental pastimes. It is certainly your great mercy upon him. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we know, was a big impersonalist, and he tried to convince Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of impersonal conclusions. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, heard him for 7 days without speaking, and then completely changed him, transformed him by defeating Mayavad philosophy. So Gopinath Acharya is now recollecting Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's past, that he was just engaged in dry logics, mental speculation, and this logic is like a dry oil cake. It's one thing. So this cake is a dry oil cake from which the oil has been extracted. Dry oil cake is not very good. Even worse is when there's no oil in it. Completely dry and distasteful. This is what he was tasting before he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But now, after taking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's nectar, he's completely transformed. Hasi Mahaprabhu tabe Advaita Anila Jalera Upare Tandre Shesha Savya Kaila. After Gopinath Acharya finished talking, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and, calling for Advaita Acharya, made him act like Sheshanaga bed, like the Sheshanaga bed. Apana Tanhara Upara Karila Shayan Shesha Shai Lila Prabhu Kaila Prakatana. Lying down on Advaita Prabhu, who was floating on the water, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated the pastime of Shesha Shai Vishnu. Advaita Nija Shakti Prokat Kariya Mahaprabhu Lana Bule Jaleta Bashiya. Manifesting his personal potency, Advaita Acharya floated about on the water, carrying Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We know Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he is Mahavishnu, and combination Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. So here he is acting like Mahavishnu. Here he's acting like Shesha, which is interesting. It's very difficult to understand Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu because, he is playing the role of a devotee, and we hear he doesn't like to be addressed as the Lord. He would block his ears if someone would say he is the Lord. But sometimes he would also manifest himself as the Lord, as he's doing here, lying on Advaita Acharya. And in a class, Prabhupada comments that, Advaita Acharya, he has a characteristic white beard, big white beard, much older than Lord Chaitanya. And in this lecture, Prabhupada comments that all the followers of Lord Chaitanya, they were all cleanly shaven. All the Goswamis, everyone, they were cleanly shaven. This is what Lord Chaitanya wanted. But he never told Advaita Acharya Prabhu to shave because he was older, and it's not the etiquette to instruct a senior. Therefore, Advaita Acharya kept his beard. Lord Chaitanya didn't interfere with him. So, he is seeing Advaita as his senior, and he won't tell him, shave. But he'll tell the other associates and his disciples to shave. But here he's telling him, you lie down. I will sit on top of you. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very deep personality. The deepest personality. What is the time? 8:20? Okay, we'll read 2 more verses. E mata jala krida kari kata kshana aitota aila prabhu lana bhakta gana. After sporting in the water for some time, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his place at Aitota and accompanied by his devotees. Puri Bharati Adiyata Mukhya Bhakta Gana Acharyerani Mantrane Kari Labo Jana. Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, and all the other chief devotees of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took lunch at the invitation of Advaita Acharya. Vaninata Arayata Prasada Anila Mahaprabhura Gane Se Prasada Kaila. Whatever extra prasadam was brought by Vaninath Rai was taken by the other associates of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So close associates would take lunch together with Lord Chaitanya at Advaita Acharya Prabhu's house. This is his invitation. And it's described that Vaninath Rai also brought prasadam during this invitation, but this was taken by other associates. So there are descriptions, I can't recall where, also in Chaitanya Caritamrta, where Advaita Acharya is describing him cooking personally with his wife, Sita Thakurani for the Lord. A very nice description of how together they cooked, and the mood in which they cooked, and the preparations they cooked for Lord Chaitanya. I don't know if Sita Thakurani was here in Puri, but that is a different place. But yeah, Advaitacharya would cook personally for Lord Chaitanya and serve him. Alright, we'll stop there. We didn't reach the purport, verse of the purport. That will be done next week. Sri Caitanya Charitamrta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.